Palestine has made me a better person. Israel cannot wage a war under a people who live under occupation. Of course it's illegal what Israel is doing. Of course it's a violation of international humanitarian law.
My guest for today needs no introduction. فرانشيسكا Albanese, welcome.
Hello.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, and Ramadan Kareem.
Thank you. First things first, you're here in Jordan. Tell us more about your visit today.
I come to Jordan normally quite often in the context of my work as a special rapporteur on the occupied Palestinian territory, because Israel obstructs my mandate and has declared me persona non grata and doesn't allow me to enter the occupied Palestinian territory. And therefore, I'm grateful to the authorities here who have allowed me and my predecessors to come and interview Palestinians, authorities, and victims of abuses. So I came in the context of the preparation of my next report, which is to be presented to the Human Rights Council next month, and it's going to focus on acts of torture and other cruel, degrading, and inhumane treatments that have been practiced against the Palestinians post-October 2023.
Speaking of October, let's talk about October the last. Trump said that the ceasefire has ended the war and there is no war in Gaza. What do you think about that? Is it really over?
Well, there has never been a proper war.
Yes, that's
in the sense that you have a war, surely there is a conflict, but a war is fought by states or at least by armies. So this is a very sui generis set of hostilities that have taken place, let alone what the world call the parties, Israel and Hamas as the de facto authority in Gaza. The Palestinians in Gaza, the West Bank and East Jerusalem are under occupation. So Israel cannot wage a war under a people who live under occupation. It doesn't make sense. There is another legal framework. So the very category of war is misplaced. But even if we want to use it, no, it's not over. It's not over, and it has never been over during any ceasefire. Even during the first ceasefire, there were about over 150 people who were killed between January and March, and now there are over
600.
Over 600. So where is peace? Of course, the level of slaughter has subsided in terms of there are tens of people who die who are killed where before there were hundreds. But still, why do the Palestinians have to be? Why does Gaza have to be such a slaughterhouse? And why does Israel is even taking part in the discussions concerning the future of Gaza? And what about the West Bank and East Jerusalem? There is no peace.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because regarding the Board of Peace, what does it mean actually for peace for Gaza if the entity that has waged this aggression and this genocide on the people of Gaza, and it's a part of the board? What do you think about that?
Let me take a step back, because I think that if one thing, this last 2 horrific years in Gaza, but also in the West Bank and East Jerusalem. And I would like to talk about what's happening in East Jerusalem, because the attention is, of course, on Gaza, but we shouldn't forget the other Palestinians under occupation. But in any case, what happened to the people in Gaza has been so brutal that has left us almost without words. there are no words. I mean, what else can I say that I've not said thousands of times? Of course it's illegal what Israel is doing. Of course it's a violation of international humanitarian law. The very way Israel has conducted its assault against Gaza. But even before October 2023, the situation was abnormal in terms of, it was a violation of international humanitarian law day after day. Gaza was under blockade, was under siege, which is a war crime, a collective punishment. So the situation was already difficult. But what has happened after October has shown us, the hypocrisy of the system, because even in the face of everything that Israel has done since October 2023, the killing, the maiming of hundreds of thousands of people, the starvation, the destruction, the massive destruction of everything that might constitute a necessary condition to live, having water, having a sewage system, having a roof on your head, having schools. Everything has been destroyed, and in the face of this, not only there have been countries who have turned their eyes away, but the majority of countries has continued to treat Israel business as usual.
Yes.
And it's this impunity that has allowed Israel to become what it is today, a state which commits genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and it's dismantling the very system of the very multilateral system. And I will get to this. Because the multilateral system, meaning the system in which every state has found a place from the Second World War onward, and moving from a place where the world was still colonized to today, where there are 193 members of the United Nations. Now we have a system that led by Israel and the United States.
Yes.
After eroding every appearance of validity, effectiveness of international law, the very system that is deemed to apply and check on the application of international law, the United Nations system, is being dismantled. And this is what the Board of Peace is. It's, first of all, peace is really misplaced in this sentence. But why would we need a structure like that has no democratic rules? It's really animated and driven by immobiliarism, real estate agents, and business profit kind of interests. And more by private actors that in the name of rights. Where are the Palestinians? Where is Palestinian self-determination? And why not the United Nations leading this project? Why President Trump? Again, today is President Trump. Tomorrow, there might be a change in the government, but the scar to the multilateral system of this time will be indelible. And this is what I fear. We need to pedal back. We need to become to a place of respect of basic rules and international law. Otherwise, this lawlessness will become the grammar of the future for the region. And this region has already suffered a lot from this lawlessness, but also the part of the world they come from. People are in turmoil, are revolting because they see the risk. They understand, especially the young population. For them, this genocide is not something that they will read on the book, is memory in the making. And this is why they want to change. They really want a change. And this Board of Peace doesn't represent international law, doesn't represent multilateralism, doesn't represent what the young generation deserves for the future. It's really a colonial enterprise.
Do you think the international law is becoming a dead letter in regards to Western-backed leaders like Netanyahu, for example?
No, I think that, again, international law has always been dead letter for Israel. Today, we see the extent. Today, we see the length Israel's impunity goes. Today, we see the vassals that member states, democratic states, are the state of vassals the member states are reduced to. Today we see also people, young people, but also many others from my part of the world. I mean, there is a violence unleashed in Germany, in Italy, in France, against protesters. We, liberal democracies, the sanctuary of freedom of expression and freedom of association. I'm such a free thinker. I'm so really attached to the independence of this mandate. And what you see is not courage. I don't think that I'm a courageous person. I'm a decent person who has benefited from a from freedom and continues to practice freedom and wants freedom for others as well. In my own country, where it's so normal that students are beaten up because of protesting against a genocide. In France, where the kufiya is treated as a crime, where the Palestinian flag is associated to a crime, where an entire people are stigmatized, are reduced to the epitome of terrorism, or in Germany, where their incapacity, they're really weaponizing their undealt with trauma.
Yes.
And again, I see all over the world, all over Syria. When I say this is not an hyperbole, all over the world, people are protesting. Of course, over time, people also get tired, and because they see nothing makes a difference. And this is where I say, no, people, no, folks, you cannot stop. It's illusory. It's vain to think that the system as encroached as the colonial mindset that still entraps Palestine can get dismantled with 2, 3, 30, 300 protests. No, there is much more that is needed. There is a total change of engagement as global citizens that we are called upon doing. It's really standing together in solidarity for one another. I often quote this citation, solidarity is the political declination of love. And it's true, love is caring for another person. And yeah, this is what we are called upon doing, caring for the Palestinians, caring for workers' rights, caring for profound values. For me, these values today, and this is what I'm saying, all of us need to move for a change. And where to? The universality of rights. Because for me, freedom of expression is not real if 300 journalists can be killed on the other side of the Mediterranean. And the right to have a house is not real if a state can level and pulverize the 90%, 80%, 90% of the homes of an entire people, live over 1,500,000 people without a house. It's not normal. So this is a test on our universality. So universality of rights, social and economic justice, because it's not normal that those who hold huge capitals and control the technology and surveillance system and the weapon industry can decide state politics and policies more than the state's own citizens. And then a new multilateralism, that it is to be decolonized. This is the future. If we get out of this genocide better, we'll speak the language of a new multilateralism where all countries, all people, all nations are worthy the same, and there are not states who can lecture about human rights while other parts of the world are either considered uncivilized or the ATM, the convenient ATM of the world, if you see what I mean.
Yeah. You personally have been subjected to numerous attacks and smear campaigns. Most recently, several countries have called for you to resign over a video that was fake, completely fake. What do you have to say to those countries?
Let's talk about Gaza. What did you do to stop the genocide in Gaza? Don't come and tell me that there is not a court which has said that it's genocide, because it means that you don't even have decent lawyers. Because a decent lawyer would tell you that the 24th of January, the International Court of Justice concluding that there was a risk of irreparable harm to the Palestinians in Gaza under the genocide, protected under the Genocide Convention, was the start, the moment your obligation to prevent genocide kicked in. And what have you done to stop genocide? Did you stop trading with Israel? No, you didn't. Responsibility of your state. Did you continue to trade weapons with Israel? Responsibility possibly also of individuals, officials in your country. So again, it's time for justice. Yeah, you can blame the messenger. I'm fine. You are the ones who have problems.
I love that answer. You were sanctioned for your work against Israeli crimes. Do you see the Epstein-Barak revelations as the political and financial context that forces, and it explains actually why the US is so keen on shielding Israeli officials from the ICC?
I really don't know. I'm thinking about that. I'm trying, frankly, it's so abominable
Yes.
that I'm trying to make sense. But I think that I have, in the face of the Epstein files and what's coming through, I keep on thinking of a book I read about something else, that it's the orgy of power. That system thing, it's to me the worst performance of an orgy of power.
Yes.
I cannot imagine anything other than it. Is there a link? Surely there are links to this world of businesses, corporations, and apartheid in Palestine, but I'm still light struck, and I'm trying to make sense of it, so I don't have an answer yet.
You've said that global perception is shifting due to viral images. How can social media today help Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank?
I don't think that the perception is shifting just because of the images. I think that it's also about what Palestine has allowed us to know about the world we live in. Never before we've talked never before we have talked so much about colonialism. Yes. Colonialism is no longer an ideological, remote term confined to the realm of academia. It's really something that is a lens through which many people, especially young people, see the world. And it's so important because, a decolonized world is a place where people from my part of the world, from Europe, and people from the global majority, so the global minority, the global north, and the global majority, the global south, meet and discuss the future they will share without suprematism, without a sense of without inferiority syndrome. Here, I imagine a place where one is one, and protected in freedom and dignity. And so the perception has changed in the sense that Israel is not all is perceived as a settler colonial entity. Why? Because people understand colonialism, taking the land, displacing the people is settler colonialism. But also they understand the economic underpinning of it, that there are private entities exploiting the misery inflicted on the Palestinian people, displaced and replaced in what remains, in the little that remains of their homeland. And at the same time, the Palestinian people, I'm so touched and so humbled, for example, to come here. There are so many who express their solidarity, their love toward me, but I say I'm not doing anything special, because this is really what the Palestinians have been seeding forever. The Palestinians, I look at the Palestinians and I say, look at them as a people, because I think that there is a deep suffering of the Palestinians as a people. I really believe that a people is like a body. I have this organic view of a community that you chop an arm, the entire body suffers.
Yes.
And so I know many Palestinians in the diaspora they are devastated to see their family members turn into this. It's so brutal. And so I think, and I say, look at the Palestinians, they keep on making the world a better place. Watermelon books, watermelon movies, and an alternative, or the BDS that pushes us to do ethical choices, or the up scroll.
Yes.
You know, there is so much that the Palestinians are giving us to the world that it seems to me that it's almost symbolically a rebirth. We have the opportunity to be better. What I say is that, look, I was another person up to 3 years ago. Seriously, of course, it's just, Palestine has made me a better person. And as I say this, I know that this resonates with so many others.
I want to thank you so much for the work that you've done. You are truly brave, and you've done incredible work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Shukran.
much. Shukran. Thank you. They've been waving at me.
Sorry, it was too long, huh?
No,
It's
it's
me.
perfect.